Vem är du?
Jag är döden.
Kommer du för att hämta mig?
Jag är här för att hämta hojsäsongen.
Fast säsongen är ju redan död.
So off-season, for me that's wintertime, it's below zero and the roads are freezing or icy and there's a lot of garage time for the bike. I go on the occasional ride when the weather allows it, but for most people actually the bike is in storage like this. So there's a few things that you can look up and do on your bike and yeah, at least the things I do I will show you, and if you have other things or want to comment on that, do that in the comment section. So let's get started. Let's start with lubing the chain on this one because I've been out riding and it's been salty and so on, so let's do that first. That looks good. And just keep the bike clean. And if you, like I do, take the occasional ride in wintertime, and we have a lot of salt on the roads, so when you get back from that ride, make sure to rinse the bike thoroughly with cold water, not warm water, to get the salt off the bike. That's quite important. So other than that, just make sure that your tires are nice, and because you can have some metal parts stuck here that didn't penetrate and cause a puncture or anything, but it could still be here. And perhaps you need to change the tires before next season. These are Moto's RALs and they have quite a few kilometers left, so I won't change them. And also feel the spokes. Just go through and see so there aren't any loose ones. Like that. My spokes look like crap, but they are working well at least. So make sure that there's no wobbly loose spokes on the wheel. Also wiggle the wheel back and forth like this. Oh, careful when it's on the lift, but make sure that when you wiggle it like this, that there's no play in the bearings. So that's the rear. I like to go over and see if there's any corrosion on the bike also. And if there is a corrosion or a spot that it would be sensitive to corrosion, I use the British aerospace formula ACF 50. Got it online. I'll look it up and put a link to it, but it's unbeatable from what I've heard when it comes to protect from rust. I have, for instance, I've sprayed my fuel tank. There's a spot I'll show you where it starts corroding in the welding folds of some metal parts. As you can see, there's a lot of corrosion on the bolts that hold the disc in place. Just put it on a cloth and apply it. It will treat the existing corrosion and prevent new corrosion from showing up. But I also have new bolts, so next time I change the disc, I would change the bolts also. Also, these bolts are a bit prone to rust. Same thing on the front. Make sure everything looks alright. Also check the brake pads, if they are okay. I changed the discs after 30,000 kilometers. Okay, let's take this off. So some people, these are two teams, those who say you should start your engine during winter and those who say don't start your engine during winter. And I read up on that and I go for rides and so on, so I don't really bother. But if you're going to start the engine, What I've read, and it sounds logical, is that if you're going to start it and use it, or at least let it get real up to working temperature. Because that will not only charge the battery a little and so on, and it will lubricate the engine and keep those parts okay. But if you just start it and stop it again, that can have some condensation spreading, and it doesn't get warm enough to get the moisture away. So you can get moisture in parts where it doesn't belong because of condensation. So I do not keep it under with a charger over winter, because it has never been a problem. It's always started and it works well. So let's look through the tool roll, because that's also something that you will want to develop and upgrade and change things in it. My first aid kit, let's have a separate look at this, because that's a project in itself. And here's the tool roll. The trail stand I built from a crotch, to tire irons, paracord, great for towing a bike or drying your laundry or whatever. An extra slinky glide for the extra clutch cable and throttle wire, since that's all wire. Duct tape, which is great for making fire also. All these threads, they burn like hell. And yeah, tire repair kit, the Rally Raid dual tool for removing the wheels. My seal doctor for the fork, if it starts leaking, this is a great little thing. Okay, so I have a couple of pliers, some wrenches, some CO2 cartridges, this with all the bits and bolts that I need to loosen most things on the bike. So go through the tool bag and just make sure that whatever you want in there is there, and take some stuff out if it's not being used. And so another important thing to look through is the first aid kit. You need to know what's in there, and you need to because when you get a kit like this, I just bought this one because it said Adventurer First Aid Kit, sounded cool. But open it, have a look in it, and add things to it. Remove stuff and add things that you think would be really useful, because we camp a lot. That means we use saws and axes and knives and stuff like that. Cutting your hands or parts of your body with a knife or something like that. That is to control bleeding. Mostly minor bleedings, but you want to take care of it. So make sure that your first aid kit can take care of minor bleedings, but also more acute stuff. Let's say you bleed a lot from somewhere. You need to make sure that you can put pressure on that and take care of that. I'm not a first aid expert in any way, and there's a lot of things that you can get, like tourniquets to really cut the blood flow and the arteries are pumping. I would be out of my league. I can honestly say that requires some training. But let's see what's in my first aid kit. So I've added some stuff. I added this. This is plaster. I have these bandages with these rolls that you can put into a big wound and then bandage it. There's also a few of these that's for the same purpose, pretty much. Plasters there also as well. This one is sort of mitella too. If you break your arm, I don't think I will keep that in there actually, because I'll use whatever else I have if I break my arm and stuff like that. So painkillers is also something that I've added. Yeah, so stop bleeding and stop headaches and hangovers. That's my first aid kit. So that's the bike. Now let's go in and check on the riding gear and some camping equipment also. Who knows when this tent was packed the last time? Was it a bit moist? Was it dirty underneath? And whatever things did you forget inside the tent? So it's great to let it breathe like this, and it's a great thing to do in your house or apartment. And if you, like me, have a family, you just need to remind them that they love you. I keep all my camping gear inside during winter because I have a cold garage. It's nice for everyone else if it's small and doesn't take any place in the house. But storing your sleeping bags compressed is not a good idea. That keeps the fibers compact and compressed, and that degrades the efficiency of the sleeping bag. The second best thing you can do is, when you store it, loosen all the straps and just make it as loose and big as it can be inside the dry bag. But of course, the very best thing you can do is to keep it hanging. You see there's even straps here, foot side up, and just hang it if you have the room. I don't even have the ceiling height for that, but keeping them unfolded like this, unpacked, is the best way for all the fibers to really spread out and become effective. And for the rest of the camping gear, don't worry, I will have a complete camping gear luggage guide coming soon also. So let's not go too deep into these, but go through, play with your nice stuff. Just check what's in there, and if it's fresh, if it's clean, and if it needs refilling perhaps. Like, are these spices okay? How much gas do I have still? Or propane? Wet wipes, wet wipes. Wet wipe, still working, need fresh batteries for next season perhaps. Also, I keep these small bottles with different liquids in it for dishwashing and oil and stuff like that. Do they need refilling or something like that? Yeah, so just look through your stuff and see what needs to be done. And yeah, it's nice to just therapeutically go through all these things and feel them. And actually, you can smell the forest. And as for riding gear, we first have the water bladder. And let's see how my little germ colony is going. My water bladder, it actually has water in it since last time I used it. It actually feels a little slimy inside. That's not a good sign. So off-season is also a great time, of course, to care for your helmet. I take out all the paddings inside and wash it by hand, and there's actually a perfect guide for cleaning your helmet from Thomas Hansen. So check that link up here instead, because I have so many microphones and cables in here. I hate taking that out, but I do that at least once a year, and then take everything apart and clean it. So yeah, Hansen, clean away. Yeah, so check your gear. This is my Nox jacket. There were some parts coming loose after 3 years now, but I just took it to the local sewing shop and they fixed it for me, so it's like new again. Yeah, boots, make them happy. Leather parts needs fat, and otherwise just clean them and make them, I try to get them greasy in a way so that, because they squeak a bit. These are my new ones, the Alpine 7, Tech 7. Quite popular, extremely comfortable. My Alpine Stars Toucan that I had, they lasted 4 seasons, 50,000 kilometers, but then the sole came loose. So I opted for a real MX boot this time, but It's not a review, I like them, but this is about taking care of them, so they need a bit of cleaning. I call these my disco boots because it's gold and it's silver and really dancey. And we have the goggles. These thick foam parts are filled with dust and sweat, and the glass needs to be removed as well. And yeah, it's not perfect. So that's how I stay sane during off season. Of course, I get to go out sometimes on the bike, but it's not the same. So please write in the comment section, what are you doing to keep sane while not riding off season? And yeah, see you in the next video, and hopefully that will be a riding video. Okay, thanks, bye bye.